Well, that was quite a party. I have to admit it's nice to get a little peace and quiet after the festivities. And thank you again for allowing me to ride home in your carriage. It's quite the fancy carriage you have. Now tell me, why did you pick purple for the interior? A color befitting of Southern royalty such as yourself. Oh, now I already told you. I don't need to hear such flattery. Ma'am, you look gorgeous in this dress. Wow. I don't know. I feel like I wasn't among the most stylish at the party. You see, I handmade my dress. I know many of the other girls were having theirs made by, the fancy tailors from town, or some of them even from overseas, but you do know I loved so I made mine myself. So I'm afraid I might not be completely up on the trends, but, well, if you liked it. Wow, almost as stunning as the other Southern belle I met this week. Her name was Ember, or something like that. Oh, yes, I know Ember, my cousin. Now you might want to be careful with her. She's a little bit of a firecracker. Say, since I invited you, I'd really hate it if you had a bad time at Betty May's dinner party. And I know it was Betty May's first time throwing a dinner party at Fool. She usually specializes in tea parties, so maybe it was a bit presumptuous of me to invite you, because, I wasn't quite sure how it would go. Oh, but I do hope you had fun. I would just feel so terrible if I invited you somewhere and then you didn't have any fun. I'm really glad that you had a good time. I mean, personally, well, not every party can be a hit, so... I'm being rude. It was Betty May's first dinner party, so I suppose it was tolerable. There are a few things I would have improved on personally, but... I mean, if you had fun, then... Perhaps I try too hard on my own dinner parties. If that's enough to entertain people, maybe I overthink it when I throw them myself. Oh, speaking of almost being late, you did arrive a little bit late, but then also, I was almost late leaving because I could not find my purse. Thank you so much for helping me find my purse. I really do have some very delicate, sensitive, private things in there, so it would have been a travesty if I had left it and somebody had taken a peek inside of it or something awful like that. So, tonight, you were quite the hero. Thank you. My pleasure, missus. I swear your secrets are safe. Hey, you better not have looked in there. I mean, speaking of my cousin Dupree, he sure did get mighty sick. Now, I don't want to, make guesses where it's not my business to make guesses, but I did, as I told you, think that shepherd's pie looked a little, Well, let's suffice it to say I wouldn't have eaten that shepherd's pie. Now, I told Dupree not to eat it either, but, well, you saw him going ham on that pie. No wonder he got sick right in the middle of dinner and had to run out like that. Oh, how embarrassing. Can't believe we're related. I didn't eat the pie, so I should be fine, though I do think quite a few people who ate it were looking a little pale later in the night. Say, I told you not to eat it, so you didn't eat it, right? I sure do hope you didn't eat any of that pie. I'm glad that you took my advice. Seems like... Well, again, not to point fingers, I can't say for sure who or where Dupree's sickness suddenly came from. I just, well, sometimes a woman's intuition, and, well, I feel like you might have dodged a bullet tonight for your poor stomach, so I'm glad you did not eat the pie. I have to say, other than the shepherd's pie, I do think that dinner went rather well. There was no more, how do we say it, disruptions, not until we all gathered in the sitting room to do performances. Oh, now it was so unfortunate that Betty May didn't get to play her violin. Now, I've heard rumors that she's been practicing her violin piece for months now. Imagine that. Practicing and practicing. And then at the very last minute, when it counts the most, not being able to perform because your violin string snapped. And she couldn't find her replacements. Honestly, just terrible. It was truly, truly unfortunate. Yes, poor Betty May. Now, it kind of embarrasses me to say, but, well, I did have a little bit of fun singing my piece at the party, and I hope it didn't sound too terrible. Well, I feel like it wasn't my best job, not by any means. I really feel like I could do so much better, but which was your favorite of the performances? I'm not sure if I can believe you. It's very kind of you to say that you liked mine the best, but I fear maybe I set you up for it by talking about it as I did. But perhaps I put you in a situation where you didn't have the right to say no as a gentleman, so unfortunately I suppose I'll just take it as face value, since that's the only option I have left. Oh, now certainly you know what I'm laughing about, but it's awful of me. No, we shouldn't talk about it. Honestly, it would be the polite thing to do to just, for Betty May's sake, just never bring it up again. Oh, forgive me. Oh, it's just too much. Well, I am getting a little bit sleepy. No, unfortunately, we're not there yet. It's your carriage. You know how long it takes. Now, I know you're going a little bit out of the way, just for me, but I don't think it should be too much longer. Well, while you men were in the parlor, us ladies were still in the sitting room, and, well, I'm sure you noticed when you returned that Betty May was in, how should we say it, a little bit of a mood. Now, I doubt she's like this all the time, but I think just tonight, on account of the cat and the violin and the people getting sick in the middle of dinner, maybe her nerves were just a little bit on edge, but I'm afraid she was a little bit of a sore loser. Yes, quite, she was in her vapors. That's the thing, is while you men were just smoking, us ladies played a few hands of cards. It was unfortunate that, even though it was Betty May's party, she really did not have any good fortune when it came to playing cards. I wonder, among the women there, who do you think won the game of cards? I'm not sure if you can guess. Well, one hates to brag, but, well, yes, you are correct. I did win every single game of cards that we played. I don't know what to say. It was just, well, I was just having luck tonight, I suppose. Quite the run of luck. A petty soul like myself might think you rigged it. It almost felt like that, I swear. It really did. I just could not lose. Now I am getting so very sleepy. It's not that you're not decent company. I've had a very long day. We still have a few more minutes before we would get home. I'm trying to say, would you mind if I dozed off just for a few minutes? Of course not. Well, if you're permitting. Well, I do feel mighty refreshed after that little nap. Now tell me, did you catch some winks too? Well, actually, you look a little concerned. Now, you don't look like you rested well at all. You do believe there's a caper afoot. Now, what could you possibly be suggesting by that? It makes sense, you won, Runie Bell. Your words come out as sweet molasses, distill in the brain and intoxicate like the finest rum. That, and you rigged it. I'm so taken aback by this wild suggestion that I would do something as unladylike as rig the card game. I can't believe you're suggesting this. And what, pray tell, do you think you have as evidence against me? Because I do hope that you have at least some sort of good evidence if you're gonna accuse me of trying to sabotage Betty May's party. Mind opening that purse? What did you mean about that comment? Did you look in my purse? Well, I'll have you know that I have very good excuses for everything in there. First of all, my daddy told me to carry wire cutters with me all the time. Do you really think I would do something so terrible as to cut poor Betty May's violin strings? Absolutely not. I didn't even know that was catnip. I just thought they were pretty flowers. You know I love collecting and drying flowers. It's just a hobby of mine. I had no idea that it was even catnip. And I certainly didn't do anything with the catnip. It stayed in my purse all night. And that liquid, it's not so suspicious. I'll have you know that it's used for ladies' issues. I'll have you know things that a gentleman such as yourself shouldn't be questioning a lady about. And, well, the playing cards. Well, I forgot they were in there. Just a mistake from carrying them home from a different party. You cheat at cards in multiple parties then? I do not appreciate the tone of your voice. It is unbecoming of a man to be so cheeky. You know what? I think we should stop the carriage. Stop the carriage right now and I'll just walk home. I'll just walk home then. That's it. Here I was thinking I was sharing a nice, lovely carriage ride with someone I could trust. No. What do you mean, no? I'm serious. Stop the carriage. I'll walk home. No, we can't let you walk unescorted like that? Well, too bad. I'm making the decision for myself. Stop the carriage. Now this is ridiculous. Stop the carriage. No. You know what's so ridiculous about this whole affair? Me try to sabotage Betty May's party. She's perfectly capable of doing that herself, really. I mean, nobody would worry about that. I could just sit back and not do anything at all. Well, I just have to say you look like quite the fool for thinking such a thing. It could just make me laugh. Now I'll have you unhand me this moment. I didn't sabotage her party. I didn't sabotage her party. Now unhand me, I'm getting out of the carriage. Fess up. Alright, fine. Maybe I did sabotage Betty May's party. Is it so unbelievable that someone like me could feel a little bit insecure? Such a fancy lady coming from out of town. So I suppose you think I'm so awful now. I suppose you plan to tell everybody. You mean you kinda enjoyed the antics at the party? Well, if you ask me, Miss Betty May had it coming. Truly, do you think so? No one likes Betty May anyways. We would have helped you if we'd known beforehand. Oh, you're awful. Now don't go saying that. It was just a temporary, once in a lifetime misjudgment of mine. This is not reflective of my character overall, of course. I hope you understand. But I do appreciate that you'll keep this little bit of information between the two of us. I'm more offended you wouldn't invite us to help. Maybe. Well then, maybe one more time in the future, should some other event occur where I need a partner in crime, maybe I'll consider you. I think, we're getting we're getting pretty close to my estate. So I suppose this is where we might have to say goodbye. All right. Well, it's a little bittersweet, but suppose I must say farewell. Give glory to the runes, for my love and affection is forever with you. See you again.